Eggs and bacon, Kaisenat and shoulder pads, Kevin Hart and unregulated freak-offs. These are all iconic duos, but none are as iconic as the duo, Gmod and FNAF. You've seen these, of course you've seen these. Kill maps, the original models, whatever this contraption is. These videos were the 2014 equivalent of Skibbity Toilet. With the rise of FNAF after the release of the first game, the internet was quickly swarmed with our favorite German furries. Every inch of it, no matter what, was seeing some impact of the FNAF mania. And unfortunately for the Gmod community, it saw to be the perfect spot for swarms of children to come filling the workshop up with everything Freddy. Dupes, models, maps, movies, weapons, pills, packs, Broly boosters. If you could fit no beast chicken on the screen, then goddammit there was going to be one. How did the Gmod community react to this information? What do you mean? It's the internet. Of course they loved it. Once upon a time, Gmod was a wonderful, happy place. Then the 6-year-olds came everything with their FNAF. I don't know how a bunch of mechanical war with them, and I want you to subscribe. Huh. Guess these guys don't like Germans. Hatred from the older folks on the Gary aside, there was a reason FNAF was so popular. Little babies love this shit. I know because I sure did. You sat 2014 me in front of a TV with a Gmod FNAF video in front of me and my eyes dilate like I'm off one. Tens and tens of millions of views for videos that aren't even really that highly edited. These videos are huge. Surely they're still booming. They aren't still booming. VenturianTale, Tony TCTN, these were just a few of the creators who paved the way and exploded onto the scene through the help of bad thumbnails and a love for bears. But go ahead and take a visit to these people's channels. The drive that was going on so heavily back then, it's all but dried up. Sure, FNAF and Gmod just aren't as big as they were a decade ago, but these videos have stacks and stacks of views. And these channels, they have millions of subscribers. They should have been able to retain somewhat of an audience, even if FNAF and Gmod aren't at their peak. But that's not what we see. In fact, it's only been a slow decline over the better part of 5 years. Let's look at the most popular creators in the space, the content they were making, and the eventual decline of it all. The number one creator most people think of when it comes to this space is VenturianTale. For those who weren't as brain rotted as most of us back then, VenturianTale was a YouTube channel made by 4 siblings by the online names of Immortal Kaide, Homeless Goomba, Bethany Fry, and of course the namesake of the channel, Venturian. Remember those names because they're going to be important later. The group uploaded videos from 2013 to 2022, an uptick in their success seen in the late part of the 2014 year with the rise of Five Nights at Freddy's. The first video they made about the bear, Gmod Five Nights at Freddy's Scary Mod, blew up in comparison to their other content at the time. Upon seeing the success of this video, the siblings of course saw money signs. They continued to make FNAF video after FNAF video, and with each video came another drop of high views. There was map gameplay where they would just play a FNAF map, mod showcases where they would obviously showcase a mod, and finally, my favorite, the roleplay videos. Just to give you an idea of the content that made it big back in the prehistoric period of YouTube, you can look to this video right here. Bonnie visits Walmart, where Bonnie he visits Walmart. That's what he does. This video happens to be a roleplay video. This means Venturian is playing his character of Johnny Ghost, and Immortal Kaide is playing her character of Johnny Toast. Both of them are paranormal investigators and go to Walmart investigating. Doesn't seem like they could find a Walmart map though, so instead of investigating a Walmart, they're investigating a Best Buy. The two shop around for a little bit, both blown away by the ancient technology on the shelves, which is fair. I don't think I've seen a BlackBerry ever. At the front counter is Toy Bonnie, and clearly it has been real rough since FNAF 2. I don't know if he's paralyzed or just shaking a lot of ass, but he's certainly made some unfortunate decisions to end up like this. Freddy is there too, but he's missing a head for some reason. Celebrities before and after drugs. The two head to the front counter only to realize they have no money. Now this starts an admittedly really funny scene of Bonnie flying around the ceiling like he's possessed by the Holy Ghost, all while threatening to call the cops. They didn't try to steal anything, but Bonnie says he's gonna call the cops because Bonnie hates the poor. Johnny Toast and Johnny Ghost both run out of the store before they can be caught, deciding to sneak back in a little bit later under a different disguise. Before they can do that though, Lefty appears. This video came out an entire year before FNAF 6, confirming once and for all the thing we've all speculated forever. Scott Cawthon stole Lefty's design from VenturianTale. Now when is Johnny Ghost showing up? They're unable to get inside the Best Buy unharmed, because my glorious goat, Johnny Toast, explodes his car trying to bring it inside. Another really funny moment, especially since it ends up killing both Lefty and Gertrude with a loose tire. Gmod is a great game. Bonnie, now with his hemorrhoids healed, comes up to the front counter to talk to Johnny. Also, Purple Guy is there too, at least this weird version of him. I don't know man, I think Homeless Goomba just wanted to be included. After Bonnie yet again threatens calling the cops, Johnny actually annihilates them from this plane of existence, even accidentally killing Johnny Toast. Despite being eradicated from existence, it looks like Bonnie got that phone call off, because a police officer shows up to do some questioning. Not a problem when you have the heat-seeking intergalactic continental ballistic missile though, so Johnny kills him too. It finishes with Johnny ascending into the afterlife, hopefully to pay for his crimes. I really don't think they planned any of this. I mean, it's pretty obvious 90% of it is improv. They lose track of story beats, have random characters show up. I do not think the car was supposed to explode, but hey, it was funny. As much as I make fun of these, I love these videos, man. It's YouTube at its core, just people enjoying themselves and having fun on camera. Everything looked on the up and up for Venturian, but then the impossible happened. YouTube changed.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
By 2018, YouTube was in a very different place to when they saw their peak in 2015, and with that came a sharp decline in viewership on their channel. They really didn't make any effort to switch up the content to keep up with the machine that was YouTube. Along with this, a lot of their audience didn't seem to stick past the big boom of FNAF. A lot of them even just growing up a bit and moving on to other things. The final nail in the coffin, however, would be half the channel disbanding right towards the end. In 2021, Pigs, also known on the channel as Bethany Fry, came out with a video explaining why her and her sister no longer did videos on the VenturianTale channel. I won't go too into depth here since this video is about more than just VenturianTale, but the long story short is that the group were raised in a very religious household. Due to this, the sisters experienced sexism within the home, along with strict guidelines to follow as to not become the devil, as Bethany puts it. Mix this with being sheltered and not allowed to make friends, and it trapped her in a very small box. After she came out with her story, her brother's homeless Goomba and Venturian cut her off for differing beliefs. Again, not going too in depth about this, but I will link Bethany's video down below. I recommend you check it out if you want more insight to the general situation. With the two exposed for not backing down on their dated beliefs, it seems they've disappeared from the internet around the same time. With the declining views and now their hate coming their way, I guess they just didn't see a point in continuing the channel. With that, one of the pillars of FNAF GMod content had fallen. But it's not like that was everyone. VenturianTale might have seen a decline in a way that definitely impacted the normal GMod content that most people went to watch, but there was another, a very legendary man. A man named Tony TCTN. Side note, what does TCTN stand for? Tiny coated titty nipple. Good one, me. Tony was another one of the big dogs in GMod content creation, once more skyrocketing to the top during FNAF's generational late 2014 to late 2015 run. Like VenturianTale, he had three types of content that would usually pull in the big bucks: map gameplay, FNAF story, and kill maps. I'll talk about the last two real quick since the map gameplay is a little bit boring. These here are GMod kill maps, an already popular GMod content format. Kill maps are basically torture maps. There are various machines and devices, all for you to spawn ragdolls and NPCs in to watch suffer. Saws, drills, pits, KSI's newest song. The only limit is your imagination and RAM. These videos marked all the check marks off when it comes to things crayon munchers look to see. Popular character? Check. Arguably disturbing thumbnail and content? Check. White guy with a granny webcam? Bet your bottom dollar there is. These thumbnails and titles are just so fire. Wait, who the fuck is the puppet master?
Is this his penis? An animatronic penis?
This is Tony's world famous I Killed Toy Bonnie video, where he, you guessed it, kills Toy Bonnie. The video doesn't start off with Toy Bonnie laying on the ground like a rag doll. It's actually just regular Bonnie. I assume this whole segment at the beginning is because there wasn't a Toy Bonnie model at the time. The video was made in November of 2014, only 2 weeks after FNAF 2 would have dropped. Tony begins multiple rituals to try to get this Bonnie to become toyified. And when balloons and bacon doesn't work, he turns to his friend Carl, who promptly informs him that the way to do this is the voice of the dragon. This works, obviously. I'm sure that's what we were all shouting at our computer the moment this issue came up. Carl even gets rewarded for his good work by Tony murdering him. The rest of the video goes on like any other. Tony just going around to the different devices and making Bonnie go to sleep forever. I haven't edited this video yet, obviously, but I'm 90% sure I have to blur or color grade all of this just so the video doesn't get taken down. 2014 YouTube sure was a interesting place. The core mod he has on isn't really that amazing either. Every time Bonnie's sat in a trap where he should be cut up or diced, a random body part normally just explodes. Either that or his whole body combusts. My favorite part of the video is, without a doubt, the end, where Tony, right after having run Bonnie over with this weird Mad Max car, cuts to the funniest and most abrupt ending of all time with the happiest music I've ever heard. It's so jolly. I love this guy.
Kill me too if I...
Alright guys, that was one awesome episode.
His writing is entirely too fire. With stories like that, it's truly an eighth wonder of the world how the content ever dropped to the lows you see him post now. Like most others, his channel thrived during FNAF's peak, only to see a sharp decline with the much more gradual decline of FNAF's popularity. Before he eventually left YouTube a little bit ago, he was struggling to even rake in a few thousand views. No matter how many trendy characters he slapped on the thumbnail, nothing worked. Most likely because, well, kids aren't really watching Gmod content anymore. At least not nearly as many as back 10 years ago. And much like VenturianTale, he refused to change up his strategy and try anything different, eventually just sinking his channel. As big as the series did become after, to say it wasn't a trend on release is a bit ignorant. FNAF in 2015 is like Pokemon in the 90s. Cocaine for babies and people who should probably be filing their taxes. Not the only problem though, because Gmod as a whole also sharply declined in popularity. If you weren't surfing the webverse back then, think about what Fortnite is to kids today. That's basically what Gmod was to kids back in 2015. But much like that game, it's fallen from grace a bit. Even if not fallen completely out of the loop, the driving force that grabbed kids' attention and kept them there is gone. And unfortunately for this type of content, this just isn't what people are looking to watch anymore. No matter how cool these thumbnails are, I mean, these thumbnails are great! I have intense nostalgia for these videos. No hate to Tony at all, dude clearly had a lot of fun throwing this content together. As brain rot as they might be, they'll always make me go, I remember that, anytime they pop into my little noodle. If you watch these videos as a kid, chances are you also watch the old FNAF SFMs. Do you even know how insane those videos are? If you want another wave of nostalgia, or just to see some more crazy early FNAF stuff, click on this video right here.